work. There are lots of other emergencies that can happen in a state.
Utah is one of the best prepared states for a public health emergency.
This season ended up being shorter than we wanted it to be, but at the end of the day, we made memories that we're going to keep forever.
The big dance comes to an early end for BYU after their loss to Villanova this weekend.
For too long, our government, our courts haven't looked like America.
The historical hearing of Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson is underway now in Washington. Welcome to UniverseLive. I'm Brynley King.
And I'm Samantha Burrell. It's Monday, March 21st. The first round of Senate hearings for the Supreme Court nomination of Ketanji Brown Jackson is happening right now.
If approved, Brown Jackson will serve as the first black woman on the Supreme Court. Karen Kafa tells us more.
When President Biden nominated the first black woman to the Supreme Court last month, Ketanji Brown Jackson gave a nod to another trailblazer.
Today, I proudly stand on Judge Motley's shoulders, sharing not only her birthday, but also her steadfast and courageous commitment to equal justice.
Jackson referenced Constance Baker Motley, the first black woman to serve as a federal judge. Now Jackson is poised to inspire another generation of black women in law and shape the nation's highest court.
For too long, our government, our courts haven't looked like America.
Republicans aren't expected to make Jackson's Supreme Court hearings too messy. The court will still have a 6-3 conservative majority after Jackson takes her seat. But some areas of her legal career could draw scrutiny.
It'll be a respectful, deep dive into her record, which I think is entirely appropriate for a lifetime appointment.
As Jackson has made the rounds on Capitol Hill, GOP senators have indicated her time as a public defender will be one of those areas, including work representing detainees at the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo Bay, and her views on the role of race in the U.S. criminal justice system. Democrats will emphasize Jackson's credentials and character at a groundbreaking moment.
This is her 4th time before the Senate Judiciary Committee, and 3 previous times she came through with flying colors.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Senator Mike Lee expresses concern about the White House's response to allegations of how Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson handled child pornography cases. Lee criticized the White House on Twitter, saying, "The White House's whataboutism response to Judge Jackson's very real record in child pornography cases is dismissive, dangerous, and offensive. We need real answers." The allegations came from U.S. senators' concern about Judge Jackson's treatment of sex offenders in past cases. The White House says the allegations were false and her handling of the case was in accordance to federal recommendations.
Salt Lake City will not host the 2024 GOP National Convention. Political and tourism officials say the state capital was taken out of the running because of scheduling conflicts in July 2024, when the convention will be held. This is the 3rd time the state has not won the bid for the convention. According to Governor Cox, this is no surprise, considering it is a solidly Republican state.
Historically, both parties usually choose battleground states, or states where they need to make an effort and they're trying to recruit voters.
However, Salt Lake City could still be considered to host the GOP National Convention in 2028. Utah Republican Party Chairman Carson Jorgensen says the Republican National Committee was impressed with Salt Lake City during their visit earlier this year.
Utah ranks among the top states most prepared for public health emergencies. The rankings come from Trust for America's Health's annual Ready or Not report. The evaluation measures states' level of emergency preparedness against health disasters. There are 3 tiers of preparedness: high, middle, and low. The report ranks states according to 10 health factors, including flu vaccination rates, public health funding, and community water system safety. The report does take into account the hardships caused by COVID-19 and other disasters within the last year.
Representative Burgess Owens is co-sponsoring a bill that awards a medal in honor of Ukrainian defenders. The Defenders of Ukraine Congressional Gold Medal Act is part of a bipartisan effort to recognize the defense of democracy against Russia's attempts for control. The Ukrainian government would receive the medal on behalf of the Ukrainian people who are fighting Russian forces. The award of a Congressional Gold Medal is the highest degree of civilian honor in the United States. Representative Owens says that the United States is in full support of the people of Ukraine defending their freedom.
General Conference for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints starts in 2 weeks. There will be morning and afternoon sessions on Saturday, April 2nd and Sunday, April 3rd at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. The women's session on Saturday evening will begin at 6 p.m. Tickets to watch conference in person will be available through stake presidents. Conference will stream live on churchofjesuschrist.org, the General Conference YouTube channel, and local radio and television stations.
The Utah Valley Job Fair will be held tomorrow at Utah Valley Convention Center in Provo. The convention will be from 2 to 5 p.m. at the Utah Valley Convention Center in Provo. More than 100 employers will attend looking to hire for thousands of positions. Organizers say anyone looking for a new job should bring a resume and dress for an interview. Anyone who RSVPs on the Utah Valley Job Fair Facebook page will be eligible for prizes and giveaways. For a complete list of participating employers and job openings, visit utahvalleyjobfair.com.
Villanova crushed the BYU women's basketball team's hopes for making it to the Final Four.
Tyler Gibbs was in Ann Arbor, Michigan when the Cougar season came to an end.
I'm Tyler Gibb with the Daily Universe at the Chrysler Center in Ann Arbor, Michigan. BYU women's basketball season just came to a close at the hands of the 11-seeded Villanova Wildcats. After BYU jumped out to a 13-2 early first quarter lead, it was Villanova's defense and physicality that slowed things down for the Cougars.
They came out and got real physical. We just didn't seem like we didn't fight back as well as we needed to.
When we just made some careless turnovers, which I think that's pretty much us just beating ourselves.
Although this isn't the ending to the season the Cougars wanted, this was one of the best teams in program history and made a lot of memories along the way.
I want to thank my team for an incredible season, to go 26-4 and to be able to compete at the highest level, to be able to hang in there and do the things with up and down parts of life and the season. I'm very proud of them.
I've grown up playing all sorts of sports and been on so many teams, but this team is just so full of love and just we're willing to push each other in practice and compete, but at the end of the day, we still enjoy being around each other.
This whole experience, this whole season has meant everything to me. These girls are something special. I don't think you can find another team in this nation that's as close, tight-knit, and loving as mine is.
Paisley Harding led all BYU scorers with 21 points, and even though it wasn't enough today, this team finished 26-4 on the year and won the WCC regular season championship.
BYU men's basketball is advancing in the National Invitation Tournament after beating Northern Iowa.
Good find of Gideon George. He'll drive the base and drive for the dunk. He ball fakes from 3 in the corner.
BYU defeated Iowa 90-71 with Gideon George leading the Cougars to a victory with a career high of 27 points. The Cougars shot 52.2% from the floor and assisted 22 of 36 baskets. BYU will move up in the NIT bracket and play 4th seed Washington State on Wednesday, March 23rd at 7 p.m.
Post Malone is helping raise money for children and teens who have been abused. He donated a signed guitar for the Cottonwood Heights Police Department to auction off. The police department is working with the Salt Lake City District's attorney office to raise money for the Camp Hope Utah. Camp Hope Utah, an affiliate of Camp Hope America, is a camping and mentoring program to support young abuse victims. The Fender Squire guitar is up for auction through email. If you're interested in making a bid, you can email an offer to Camp Hope Utah at ch.utah.gov.
A group of children are evacuated from an orphanage in Ukraine.
Just 4 baby in the car journeyed from Sumy to Kiev during 6 hours without doctor.
How many children were rescued and who will be taking care of them?
A man is rescued from an underground storm drain. How far down he was stuck and how many people it took to get him out.
Netflix is changing the way they charge accounts. Find out if you will see an increase on your bill. Temperatures fluctuated over the weekend, but what will they feel like this week?
Time and time again, when I'm doing street magic, I'll walk up to someone and I can just see that they're against me, right? They don't want to be amazed. They don't want this experience to happen. But then the magic happens and all of that falls away.
It's the experience of waking up and seeing things the way you saw them before they became ordinary. I'm looking for that experience of wonder.
Come on! Go, Diane! Yeah, keep it going! Yeah! Go, honey!
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane! Woo! You got this!
President Biden will visit with European leaders in Brussels and Poland about increasing aid to Ukraine.
Amy Kiley reports on Biden's aims and what President Zelensky hopes from the talks.
Russian President Vladimir Putin seems undeterred by increasing civilian casualties in Ukraine.
This is really disgusting.
This week, the White House is expanding its efforts to help. President Joe Biden is holding a call with European leaders this morning. Then he's talking with American CEOs about the war. On Wednesday, he travels to Europe for an emergency NATO summit. He'll visit Warsaw, Poland Friday for talks with that country's president about Russia's war in Ukraine. And he's got another invitation.
Why don't he can visit Kyiv next week as a symbol of our solidarity?
The Ukrainian capital is a war zone right now, so Biden does not plan to stop there. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has his own ideas of what he'd like in the president's agenda.
What I'd like to see the president do is to reassure our Eastern Bloc allies.
The Ukrainian people are begging Biden and the U.S. to offer more support. The besieged city of Mariupol refused Russia's demand to surrender today. The Ukrainian president says he's ready to talk to Putin at any time, but he's worried if talks fail.
That would mean that this is a third world war.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
71 children from an orphanage in Sumy, Ukraine have been evacuated after spending 2 weeks in a basement sheltering from Russian shelling. Many of the children are disabled, and all of them are under the age of 4, some requiring constant medical attention.
They were evacuated yesterday, and miraculously, they brought them here to Kyiv. Their journey was very difficult.
They arrived in Kyiv with orange identification tags with their names, birth dates, and urgent medical needs. All 71 children were packed into 4 ambulances with 2 doctors among them. Now that they are in Kyiv, they are receiving the medical attention they require, but with Russian forces shelling Kyiv, they are still not safe.
A man is rescued after getting stuck in a storm drain 15 feet underground in the San Francisco area. The rescue took more than 3 hours with the help of more than 45 people. Firefighters, police, and public works employees took part. The man, in his mid-30s, appeared unhurt, but was taken to the hospital to be checked out. It's not clear how the man ended up in the drain.
A bus crashes into a Minnesota restaurant, destroying a coffee bar and a cash register. Security camera footage shows the bus coming through the front window and then inching forward as the driver regained control. 2 employees were inside at the time, though nobody was injured. The bus passengers, driver, and occupants of another car involved are also uninjured. The restaurant has organized a fundraiser to pay staff during the business shutdown. The exact cause of the crash is still undetermined.
An all-black Women's World War II Army unit is receiving a Congressional Gold Medal. The Army Corps, called the 6888, consisted of about 850 women. The group organized a new mail tracking system and cleared a 6-month backlog of mail in 3 months. As a result, by the end of the war, about 17 million pieces of mail had been processed. The group's motto was, "No mail, no morale." The award is to their honor to honor their pioneering military service and boosting the morale for the people stationed in Europe.
Netflix announces they are launching a test in select countries to introduce a fee for allowing people outside of your household to use your account.
For the roughly 11% of Netflix users who use someone else's account information, this is sure to be a wake-up call. Abby Gunnarsson has more on the story.
That's right. Netflix knows you share your password, and soon you might have to start paying for it. Over the next 2 weeks, Netflix will roll out 2 test features in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru called Extra Member and Profile Transfer. With Extra Member, people who subscribe to Netflix's standard and premium plans can pay $2.99 to add an account for up to 2 people they don't live with. These Extra Members will have access to just like any other Netflix account, including their own profile and login. The Profile Transfer feature allows people who share an account to carry over their stored information to a new or Extra Member account. Netflix says it will not count these extra membership fees toward its overall paid subscriber figures. In a blog post Wednesday, Netflix said it has been working on ways to enable members who share their information to do so easily and securely, while also paying a bit more. In response, Twitter has gone wild. Poorly Aged Things added this tweet from Netflix to its collection. Apparently, love is no longer sharing a password. Allison asks, what is a household? How do we define family? And can we draw borders around love? It's a valid question. This user, like many others, wants to know how the location service is going to work with traveling and even college-age kids. Austin Knox issued an ultimatum to Netflix saying, I will soon launch a test where if Netflix does this, I cancel the service. For this user, the service may not be worth the increased price. Dismayed Netflix freeloaders may need to prepare themselves for the worst and begin budgeting for their own streaming accounts or ask their host account to pay the additional monthly fee.
Spring is finally on its way, and what better way to celebrate the season than by enjoying the outdoors? Crowds of people are flocking to Washington, D.C. to check out the cherry blossoms. This Sunday, the National Cherry Blossom Festival will resume in-person events, whereas the pandemic moved everything online for the last 2 years. With the cherry blooms in stage 5 out of 6, known as the puffy white stage, the National Park Service says that peak bloom could come early next week. Things may have felt chilly this morning, but warmer weather is also on the way for us here in Utah. You can see winds on our radar here. The dark purple patches are where the winds are the strongest, and southern Utah even has a winter warning today until 3 because of these winds. However, as these winds come in, they'll make it feel colder the next couple of days, but later cause a high pressure that will bring in warmer temperatures. Looking at our temperatures across the state today, we can see highs in the 40s throughout central Utah, and then in the 50s and 60s in the east and in the south. Most of the state is hovering around a freezing low. However, southern Utah, of course, has slightly warmer temperatures than that. Speaking of southern Utah, it's going to get a lot warmer than that this week. The sunshine is coming out all week long, and highs are peaking up into the 80s, almost 90s, with lows dropping down to 50s and 60s at night. Looking at northern Utah, the temperatures are not quite as warm, but still better than what we're used to, with highs in the 60s and 70s this week, not even dropping down to freezing temperatures at night. So get excited because spring really is on its way. I've been so excited to wake up and start hearing birds outside my window in the morning. I'm so excited for warm weather this weekend.
Oh, me too. And actually, man, I wish I could go to Washington, D.C. and go see those pink blossoms.
They look gorgeous.
Yes. Another thing you should see, a prehistoric animal never got a visit from the tooth fairy.
One man discovered a woolly mammoth tooth lying around at a construction site. The tooth weighs a whopping 11.2 pounds and is nearly a foot long. According to a paleontologist professor, finding the tooth was lucky since most woolly mammoth teeth disintegrate quickly. This tooth is suspected to be more than 20,000 years old. The tooth will be on display in Northwest Iowa Community College's Sheldon Prairie Museum. Thanks for joining us today for Universe Live. For more information on our stories or to share them with your friends, check out our website at universe.byu.edu.
Have a great day, everyone.